Good evening or good early morning in my case, and welcome to Jan's Chats and Reacts. I'm going to be talking on something that I had decided I wasn't going to be talking on because I always stand by my word and I feel that I have no reason to apologize for anything that I've said in previous live streams. And yeah, I stand by it. Now, one of the reasons I wasn't going to, hang on, I have to let the cut out. Come on then. One of the reasons I wasn't going to be talking on this was because, as I said, I stand by what I said. Hey, Bridge. I'm not actually going to be referring much to chat because I've got a lot that I need to sort of say, and also I want to react to somebody in due course. So yeah, lovely to see you though, darling. Nice to see you. Anyway, so as I was saying, I wasn't going to be talking on this because I saw you had the regular people, one who just guffaws all the way through anything, even if it is a very serious subject, which was the subject of something that myself and my panel were discussing on Friday. Now, so that's one reason I won't be responding to him. I've seen other people have tried to stick their nose in and label me as this and label me as that, and I'm not even going to respond. And the way I looked at it was, if somebody said to you, you've got a square head, right, but you haven't got a square head, are you going to be arguing with them? Are you going to sort of, keep saying, but no, I don't have a square head. My head's, oval. It's the shape it's meant to be. But these people keep saying to you, no, you've got a square head. You've definitely got a square head. I think in most cases, you just wouldn't even bother. You wouldn't even bother responding because it is such a ludicrous accusation to make. And that's exactly how I feel about certain people that have been, trying to call me out as this or call me out as that. Um I laugh because to some, most of the time it's just expected. It's just expected. YouTube is very much sort of governed by sheep, really. And you do have the shepherd who stands there and corrals the sheep into certain areas of the field. But that's how girl world is, and that's one of the reasons I don't like it. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to discuss it, and I steer away from talking things go well because to me the shepherds are two fat birds, two morbidly obese women who are, well, one I know is nearly 40. I'm not sure how old the other one is. Maybe she's in her mid 30s. I don't know. I don't care. But from what I see is that they, they stand there and they whistle for the dogs to run out and herd people into believing certain things. Now, there's another word for them online, and that is a troll. And that's why I will always say these women are trolls. So it's actually quite astounding to me how people not only follow their only word, but allow themselves to be corralled into certain areas of a field. Listen, guys, I'm not like that. I never have been, I never will be. But if people still keep saying, "Oh, yeah, well, Jan's this," "Jan believes this because of that. Jan this," no. I'm very much a lone wolf. I always have been a lone wolf. I'm proud to be a lone wolf. And as I said, if I say something, I stand by it. Now, if I feel that I've made a mistake, I will apologize. Contrary to what some people may say, you're getting it from the horse's mouth, okay? If sorry isn't a word I struggle with, I am quite happy to say I'm sorry, especially when I feel that I've done something that was wrong. I will admit I'm sorry. And if I have said something that I feel I shouldn't have said, I will also apologize. But what I won't apologize for is people taking my words and I was going to say twisting, but that's just such an obvious word to say. But taking my words and reading them back as if they've come from me. Now, that isn't right. And that's something that a lot of people, a lot of so-called creators do all the time. Hi, Edna. Hi, Sweetness. I hope you're well. That is something that a lot of creators do very, very well, especially in this side of the internet. It's like, it's just insane. It's insane. Now, I'm going to be reacting to somebody who just have to laugh. I want to make sure that I get this sort of out. I structure this quite sort of so that you can all understand where I'm coming from. I suppose, one of the first things I should really say is that I have grown up. I have a lot of experience with teenagers. A lot. I've worked with teenagers. I've been a teenager. I've had teenage children. I've got teenage grandchildren. So I think I can speak as somebody who knows a little bit about them. I've also worked with teenage girls and teenage boys. And just one second, just got the cat back in again. And what I would say is, hi, random fish. Hope you're well, darling. What I would say is, not only do I have an awful lot of experience of teenagers, I also have lived in situations where, as a teen, I was exploited. Now, that's all I'm going to say because I'm not going to put my business out there. But what I will say is I know what I'm talking about. Now, if people don't want to believe that, then that is their issue. That's not my issue. Okay? I can only be as honest as I can possibly be, and I am. I'm a very open person. I don't lie. I don't fabricate. I speak as I find. And if I find something wrong, then I'll say, oh, well, no, I was wrong there. So when you see me on my panels with sometimes one person, sometimes two, I will quite often say, "Oh, didn't realise that," or I let my guests speak, and I'll listen to them, and I'll say, "Oh, yeah, I hadn't really thought about that." So these people that are going around saying, "Oh, wow, Jan's so authoritarian that she doesn't let anybody speak, and she just talks over everybody." But no, no, again, that is wrong. So what I'm going to do with this video, I've rambled for 11 minutes now. I've given you a little bit of an insight into my background. My background, not only as a girl growing up, in very challenging, let's put it that way, very challenging environments. Okay. Now, I don't talk on it because it's nobody else's business, and because the people that watch my videos will tear it apart. I heard somebody today say, like, when I said, "Oh, I've got 4 children, I've got, 4 grandchildren," um, just screamed at the screen, "Yeah, that's because you can't keep your legs closed." So, I'm not going to speak or even or even react to people with that mindset. It's just, and I'll say it, it's beneath me. It really is. So let's get on. And I want to react to this. This is somebody who I don't have a clue what's happening with her. I don't have a clue I don't care, really. She's made her life choices. Uh, Let me guess who said that. Yes, yes, exactly. I mean, Bridge, what's the point in talking about that? There's no point, is there? I mean, it's like they're just on such a different level. And it's like that, the laughing bloody hyena over there, uh, even when he went over my video, just laughed all the way through it. Was it a funny video? I didn't think it was a very funny video. Not at all. I don't take um, child exploitation as being amusing in any shape or form. And for somebody to see somebody, sort of supposedly reacting to a discussion, a very serious discussion that we were having, I found no, I find it difficult to put into words, and that's unusual for me because I'm not short at speaking. I've always been a good speaker, and I guess I always will be. So anyway, let's move on from that. So we're not going to talk about them. Honestly, it's just not worth it. It's not worth my time, my brain power, my words to even consider what those people have to say about me. It really isn't. Yeah, it is. He was laughing all the way through Bridge. I mean, tell me, what's funny? What is funny about that? There's nothing funny about it. There's nothing funny about children being exploited. But anyway, let's move on from that because, yeah, it's just a waste of time. Waste of time even trying to sort of come to any kind of sort of uh, well, intelligent rebuttal to somebody as dense. That's all I can say. So anyway, this person that we're talking about now, or we're going to relate to, if she doesn't sort of just, get rid of it quickly, and I don't really care if she does, is somebody who hit middle age, no, older than middle age, mid-50s, and gave up everything. Gave up everything. Um, when she first came on YouTube, she was seen as intelligent, had her head together, had her life together. But anyway, we know who we're talking about. I don't want to go on and on about her. I just want to react to her reaction to what I said or what she thinks I said. So let's get on. Right. Firstly, we've got this. Her name's Skinny in the Dark. She talks very slowly, but she was making quite a lot of sense, I thought.
Exactly. You hurt everybody with false accusations
Mhm.
because when things actually do happen to somebody, then nobody believes. It's like,
But it did happen. It did happen. And it was the responsibility of that nearly 40-year-old man to keep his hands off of teenage girls.
Right. The first thing I will pick up on here is her insistence that it did happen. Now, this is one thing that I was trying to say on the panel. We don't know. We don't know if this happened. So all these creators that are like, yeah, it did happen. It did happen. Did it? You don't know. You weren't there. You don't know. And the only person who knows other than Foodie is Shannon. Now, I was going to ask Shannon whether she'd come up and talk to me about this because I think then we would get the truth. But I thought, no, I'll come on. I need to do this on my own. I need to speak on these things myself. And yeah, that's it. So let's move on. So firstly, we've got DC. She's all like, dogmatic. Yes, it did happen. How do you know, DC? Were you there? Or are you taking it from everybody else that said it happened? This is what I'm talking about, the sheep mentality in this part of the YouTube. The sheep. One person said, "Oh yeah, it happened." Listen, as Skinny says, yeah, what's her name? Chantel or Foodie has spoken about this twice. And on neither of those occasions did she say she was abused. Can we remember that? Can we? No. Instead, we're going to run with the other narrative that oh my God, she was abused. For God's sake, people, open your eyes. It's madness. Shannon said it was true. Hi, Evie. Yeah, and that's why I would like to have her up here to speak to me about it because I come from it. I look at it from a different angle. Now, I've been told, oh my God, I'm the most evil person in the world. Oh my God, you're so evil to even think that. No. What I'm trying to say is, can we find out if it's actually true? Or is this just another of Foodie's stories? Now, Shannon has collaborated the story, so we know that it did happen. But if we listen to what Shannon says, what actually happened is not a case of somebody grooming Foodie. But nobody wants to hear that. Oh, they can keep saying, "Oh, it's wrong." No, a 40-year-old with a 16-year-old, it's wrong. Oh God, it's awful. Anybody that thinks it's right should have, they should be shot at dawn. Listen, I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying that let's get the truth. I want the truth. That's all I'm interested in. Now, obviously, there's a case for saying if. Can we keep looking at this if? Okay. If it did happen, obviously, it's disgusting. It is utterly disgusting and deplorable that a 40-year-old man or a near 40-year-old man would lay his hands on a 16-year-old girl. Of course it is. But what I don't understand and what I find quite fascinating is that people then say, right, that's the end of the conversation then. That's the end of it. Have we not heard of mitigating circumstances? Have we not heard of, hearing the whole story? That's all I'm saying. Let's get the true story. Let's stop playing these games of oh yeah, well, that must have happened. And oh God, did Jan say that? Yes, I did say that. I did say that there are some 16-year-old girls that are promiscuous, that are what was the exact word I used? I can't remember. Seductive. There are. That's a fact. I'm not making it up. I've worked with 16-year-old girls. Has DC worked with them? No. Has DC got any children? No. Has DC got any daughters? No. Oh, but I'm the evil one. I'm the evil one because I want to find out whether this actually happened or not. Listen, it's not that that's not one of my goals in life to find out. But when I'm talking about it, I just think we should be talking about facts and not what the sheep are saying in yonder field. Let's think, okay? I think sometimes people are so embroiled in this girl world field that they're all in, running around, being herded here, there, and everywhere. I think they lose the ability to think in a wider, more intelligent way. And it just blows my mind. And, I don't care. I really don't care what people think, in that part of the internet. I don't give a toss what certain people think of me. I really don't. Especially when I see their behavior. I'm like, okay, you carry on. It's just, anyway, let's carry on with this because God, I've been venting for 20 minutes. For goodness sake, Jan, get on with it. All right, let's carry on. Get this going.
You see, because teenagers don't know which end is up. Teenagers are idiots.
Right. And that's one thing. That's another thing that she doesn't understand because she hasn't had 16-year-olds, because she hasn't had, obviously she's been a 16-year-old girl, but I don't know what she was like as a 16-year-old girl. not all 16-year-olds are idiots. Not all 16-year-old girls are idiots. So I disagree with that. When people say, oh, but they're 16, they don't know their ass from their elbow. Some do. Some do. I've worked with them. I've seen how some of them act. Is it right? No. Of course it's not. But some of them do. So I do question when people say, oh, but they were only 16. They were only 16. Well, yeah. One 16-year-old girl is very different to another 16-year-old girl. I worked with them for 8 years. Trust me, I know.
They can't help it. They don't know any better.
A lot of 16-year-olds will, and I'm talking both sexes, a lot of 16-year-olds are products of their environment, and you know that's very sad, and that's something that I used to deal with on a daily basis with some of these tortured children, because they were tortured, and it's all well and good saying, yeah, well, you know, they're children. Well, yes, they are. But some of them are so damaged. They're so damaged that they do think in a different way.
And so it is the responsibility of the adult, the middle-aged individual to.
Yes, of course. I've said that. Of course. Of course. It's the responsibility of the adult. Of course it is. But we know what adults are like, don't we, guys? What are adults like? Oh, Lord.
To know that exploiting a teenage kid is wrong. It's
Yeah, I'm agreeing 100%. Do I have to stop every time she says something to say I agree with it? You know, anyway, let's carry on.
wrong. The end.
We all know that. We all know it's wrong. We all know it's wrong. But it happens. It happens.
And if this had happened to someone you liked,
all right.
If it had been a 38-year-old man with some girl that you thought was terrific and that you admired, you would be all up in arms about it. What if somebody had told you you were lying?
Right. So, okay. So, all right, let's answer the first bit. What if it happened to somebody I liked? Would I act any differently? No. Because you'd want to hear the full story, wouldn't you? I mean, in a court of law, that's the whole point of a court of law, is to hear the whole story. That's all I'm saying. You need to hear the whole story. It's not about putting the blame all on Foodie. It's about wanting the full story, and especially from somebody who is a known liar. That's all. It's plain and simple. It's all well and good getting all high and mighty. Oh yeah, wow, 16-year-old da, 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 da. Listen, just look at the whole picture, okay? Before you go off on your rants and start painting me all sorts of nasty, then open your eyes. Open your eyes to the world. I've had my eyes open to the world for years. I suggest you do. That's all I'm going to say. Open your eyes.
Maybe you are lying. I don't know you. And I don't know how old you were, lady, but this is fucked up. But this is not the worst of the clips.
No,
I have a
I'm
much
the worst.
worse one to play for you.
I'm the worst of the worst. Oh, I'm sorry you're going, Evie. Sorry. Nice to see you, though. Thanks for popping in. Right. Okay.
Much, much worse.
Okay, this is much worse.
Someone whose channel I don't think I have ever played on my channel.
I suppose I should be, well, should I be happy about that? Should I be gutted that I'm not played on your Rumble because you were kicked off of YouTube because your Neanderthal boyfriend was playing porn in the background? Should I be like, yeah, okay, yeah, I am really sad, DC.
Okay. We are actually, believe it or not,
Mhm.
going to take a look at something that happened on Jan's Views panel.
I see she's still got the eyebrows. Sorry, I have to laugh at something. This is just ridiculous. Okay, let's carry on. I can't take her seriously with those eyebrows, sorry.
All right. This is far, far worse.
Oh, it
and
is.
Once that's done, then I'm going to tell you exactly what I think of all of these disgusting women. All right. So let.
Can't wait for this. Oh, God, I'm so disgusting. Oh, my God. I wonder if my kids know that. I wonder if all the kids that I worked with, who I helped through their situations, I wonder if they realised I was disgusting.
Let's bring this up. Unfortunately, Bridget is on the panel, but you know we can all suffer through that. She's not really the point, but let's go.
Oh, Bridget. Why did you have to be on panel with me? How dare you? Oh, God. Go on then, DC. Tell us what you think.
I was going to say, like, even at 18, when I first went to college, there was, like, I lived in the student apartments, and there were some guys that were, like, 23. I thought they were old. At 18,
Really?
I thought they were 20.
Do you know what? Bridget? She loves me as well, really. She just won't admit it. She's so bitter and twisted over there on Rumble. Can you imagine? Can't be late. Okay, go on then.
23-year-olds were old.
But I think I think that's probably how what I want to do is just find the bits where she opens her gob. Hang on, because she does let it play for a bit, and we've already. Hang on, is she saying anything there? Okay, yeah, because she's so dull, nodded off, and I can definitely understand that, and I can see that possibly this is the situation with Foodie, and that at that time the problems or the people that should have been held accountable were her family, not the two friends that she bragged about it to. Because when you listen to what Shannon says, she actually says that Foodie bragged about it, and that's why they said, "You dirty slut" or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Because
see, the reason I think that's quite a significant point is that if they were a group, right? You've got a group of girls, and I wish I'd heard actually the other bits that Foodie actually when she is actually telling the story. I haven't seen that. So if anyone has got clips of that, am I interested? I don't know if I am now. Because listen, this is a one and done, okay? I am not interested in that woman, okay? I really am not. But I just thought, I just see what this twat in Indiana has got to say. And she stick her head in. Did I miss this panel? What? This was on Friday, Random Fish. You may have missed it. Anyway, so I've forgotten what I was saying now. Anyway, let's carry on.
birds of a feather flock together.
Right, birds of a feather flock together. I don't know. See, I'm so contrary. I don't always believe that, because I look at my group of friends, okay, And my group of friends as an adult was very diverse. It is very diverse. Not so much now because I don't do as much as I used to do, but I used to have friends in so many different areas and we weren't all alike. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this fallacy that birds of a feather flock together. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get on.
Right. So we're talking about the type of person that Foodie is. Shannon's probably not that much better if they were
Yeah.
best buds.
Yeah, and I agree with what Edna says there. I think Shannon has also had a very rough upbringing. I think, she's had her troubles with addictions and everything, hasn't she? So yeah, I mean, troubled teens get them every day of the week,
Yucky.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I remember when things were going on, like talking to my friend.
All right, hang on. Let's move on a bit because I want to hear when she speaks. She doesn't talk for a while. Let's see. The type of 16-year-old she was.
Oh,
Look at the fake surprise on her face. Look. Oh my God. Oh my God. What has Jan said? This is disgusting. Oh, shut up, you old hag. Where even her friends were disgusted by her behavior.
oh.
But
Mhm.
were they really disgusted, or is that just the story that Shannon is telling? Because she was still friends with her years and years and years after all of this happened.
Right, so there's Bridge trying to balance out the conversation, and that's why I wanted, the two girls up there, because we all think very differently. We're all very different in our thinking. I don't know how we get on. I don't know how we get a word out on on panels because we are very different, and I do listen to what they say, and I know I can be very dogmatic. Try it. But anybody that is familiar with any of us, well, no, we are very different people. So us birds, we're not the same, you see, Edna. You got that bit wrong. Birds of a feather flock together. No, because we're not alike at all. And we're three quite strong-minded women, and we have different views. I'm the older one. I mean, I'm old enough to be both your mothers, not added together, but just one at a time. So yeah, and I know that some of my thinking is probably outdated, but I believe that both Edna and Bridget, if I'm way off, they'll tell me. They'll say, "Oh, but especially Bridget, she's not afraid to tell me." She'll say, "Oh, but Jan, da, 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 da." So, I accept that. That's fine. I don't mind that at all. So anyway, let's go on. That's true.
Right. Because if she
Yeah.
was that disgusted, I would think that they would excommunicate her from the group.
Mhm.
No, not necessarily. I mean, didn't you have friends that you knew were a bit dodgy and, you sort of... That reminds me, actually. Yeah, just a different time. Yeah, I know. That reminds me, when I was 16, 15, 16, I went to an all-girls school, and then I think after a couple of years it changed to we sort of invited the boys' school to join us, put it that way. So the two schools amalgamated. The difference I saw in my friends was insane. I couldn't believe how different they were just because, there were now boys in the classes and things like that. And some of these girls were right slappers. Let me tell you, they were. I wasn't. I missed it all because all I was interested in was football, sports, and music. That was it for me. So I missed all that. I wasn't interested. And not, as somebody so very nicely said today, because I was so ugly, boys weren't interested in me. Whatever. You just have to laugh. But yeah, and I remember those times. And one of the thing, oh, you did as well. Oh, how weird, Bridge. Yes, yes. It was exactly the same. And it was funny because the whole dynamic changed in the school. And yeah, we're talking about 15, 16-year-old girls. The whole dynamics changed. Now, I remember, and bear in mind, I was a latecomer to, like, sexual attraction and all that. I wasn't really into it. I was more of a tomboy. But I remember even before we were 16, there were girls that had crushes on the teachers, and you could tell they really meant business. They really did mean business. And I've also now let me get this right. I have to be careful. But in my last school, one of the teachers actually had a thing with one of the pupils. So yeah. Now, I'm not gonna speak any more on that. But what I am gonna say is one of the major differences I saw with my group of friends were, like, some of them were like men hungry. And I went to a good school. I went to a good Christian school. Some of these girls, when they'd come into school the next day and tell us what they'd been doing, I was like, what? In fact, I have to say, they actually put me off sex. I was like, what? You did that? So, okay. I didn't pay much mind to.
Not for 20 years.
No,
Not for 20
true. That's true. But then they may have. Right, now somebody here has put, so Chantel was couch surfing, so she deserved it. When did I ever say that? When did I ever say that a girl who is couch surfing deserves to be exploited by men? That's coming from your head, don't you see? That's not something that I said. That's not something I would ever say. So this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because I want to show the incidences of people not only twisting narratives, but also painting completely different narratives to what was actually said. So, yeah. Have known each other for 20 years, but were they actually really friends?
What difference does that make? Why are we trailing off in this irrelevant direction? Why can't
Right. The reason we went off on a different direction is because it's all linked. Okay? It's all linked to the story that's been told. It's all linked to the story that's been circulated, that one girl was exploited, sexually assaulted, whatever, by a much older man. This is a story that's been fed into this community. And as I said earlier, there are two people that know about it. One of them is Foodie. The other one is Shannon. So, but all these creators have decided that they're going to totally disregard what Shannon says, and they're just going to believe a known liar. Okay. A known liar and a troll. They're just going to believe that. Okay. This is what I find so ridiculous, really. It's just ridiculous. I can't even bother to get wound up about it. It's just ridiculous. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what happened. But all these so-called creators are going to run around and say, well, yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. Yeah, no man should touch a 16-year-old. No, yeah, I agree. No man should touch a 16-year-old. 100%. But you have to look at the whole picture. Someone should have been looking after that 16-year-old. Someone should have taught that 16-year-old that it's wrong to do this and that and the other. That 16-year-old should have been protected by people that cared for her. But she wasn't. There are so many different angles you can look at it from, but the angle I actually do look at it from, that these cretins don't seem to realise, is that I do look at it from somebody who has worked in that sphere. I have worked with 16-year-old girls and younger and older. 16-year-old girls that have been abused. So yeah, I do kind of take it a little bit to heart when I get these morons telling me about myself. Yeah, go on then, DC. You tell me more about myself.
That we stay focused on, because Shannon's a piece of shit. Completely. She's proven herself to be a piece of shit.
Okay, so because Shannon, who was actually there, okay, Shannon, who actually knows the story, is, in DC's words, a piece of shit. We can't believe her. No. We've got to believe the other piece of shit. Yeah? Okay, that's your rationale, is it? Okay, carry on.
As an adult, I'm not talking about when she was younger. I'm talking about in the current year.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this an issue? Why does it matter what the friend group thought? Why is
It matters because when somebody that was in that friendship group recalls the story and tells you what the dynamics were in that group and how the other girls reacted, it's a good indication of what actually happened. That's why it's important. And that's why I've said that I wanted to speak to Shannon. Because the only person in my eyes at this moment in time that could give the real scenario is Shannon. But you've cast her off as a piece of shit. So you're not going to listen to that, are you? Instead, you're going to run along on this this theme of, you know, a child, this poor child being sexually abused, and you don't even know if it's true. Now, I find that disgusting. Find the facts first. Get the facts first. I don't know that Foodie herself considers herself a victim. This is a bit of a rewrite, because in past chats, people took this as an example of Foodie also being predatory. This and some boys she stalked. Yes, exactly. People forget that, though. People forget that. How many times oh my God, I've never gone on her channel and watched anything because she makes me want to vomit. But how many times I've seen clips, How many times has she gone into every sordid detail about past sexual exploits? How many times? And also, another thing that is really important to remember is that she never called herself a victim at this time. That, to me, is significant. It's got nothing to do with me thinking it's okay if a child sleeps with a 40-year-old. Yeah, get your finger out of your ass, okay? And look at what I'm trying to say. It's not that I agree with sexual abuse. It's a ridiculous thing to come up with, and it's just it's actually quite laughable, really, that people are so twisted and so vengeful, you know. But of course, that's because most chats don't like foodie. Okay. Okay. There has been so many, but people flip-flop based on how they want to be perceived. Exactly. I don't flip-flop. I know what's right and I know what's wrong. And the fact that I've spoken out on this is not because of my dislike for foodie. I couldn't give a monkeys. I don't care. She isn't significant in my life. Okay. So these people that are saying, oh, I wonder how Jan would feel if it was one of her kids. What a stupid, stupid thing to say. I mean, for God's sake, I'm not saying these things as a personal slant on somebody I dislike. I'm not that petty. I'm really not. What I'm saying is, tell me the truth. I want the truth. And the thing is, if it is true and that this guy was exploiting her and, you know, doing things to her, then she would have a case for statutory rape. 100%. And she should follow that up. 100%. But the problem is, we're never going to know the truth, are we? We're never going to know the truth in this case. But while everyone is flapping their arms about poor foodie in this instance, there are actually children out there being exploited. Just think about that. Just get off the computer for 5 minutes, go outside, go for a walk around and touch some grass. And then come back and look at the news. Or go on YouTube and look at true life stories of these poor young kids that are exploited and are true victims. Do that. Don't sit here talking out of your arse about somebody or something, an incident that is supposed to have happened. It's supposition. 100% supposition.
That's the point. That is not the point. The point is that she was taken advantage of by a much older man, and she's very, very lucky that the older man that she ran across, well, again, I'm going to get to it later, but let's continue.
No, get to it now. Get to it now. She was lucky. If this did happen, the way that everyone is trying to paint it as happening, this older guy, abused her when she was 16. Okay, over here, 16 isn't really seen as a child, although some people, still think they are. When my kids were 16, I'm not going to talk about my kids anymore because people twist things and say things and yeah, no point. But 16 It's not some magical age, you know, and predators and rapists and evil people go for all ages, not just 16. And some of these poor victims don't live to see another day. You know, they don't come, you know, build like a YouTube channel and use their experiences for financial gain. You know, it's like, just give your head a shake, you know, just give your head a shake, especially when it comes down to foodie. This woman, I've always said it and I always believe it, is the biggest troll that I know of online.
Close enough to where Shannon was, when she was at her darkest time, she expected Foodie to be there and was hurt.
Yeah. Let's move on, see if she says anything else. Right, let's see. Sort of halfway house. Was it a hostel? We don't
No,
know.
I think no. Shannon was living with her mom.
DC needs to learn to shut her mouth when she's thinking. Sorry, that was unnecessary.
And I remember Shannon saying that like Foodie was basically staying there because she didn't have anywhere else to go. So it was at the mom's house.
All right. So what? And Foodie was couch surfing, was she?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So where were her parents here?
Foodie's parents, who knows? They probably gave up by that time. They didn't know what to do with her.
I've also heard, and I can't remember exactly who it was, but I think it might have been that skinny woman, said that she would actually go up to that guy's place. I don't know. I can only imagine it's like a house and they've all got a room or something. She used to go up to his place, and even if he wasn't in, she would go in and wait for him to return. I mean, okay, all right. Well, I know, as Dawn said, that she used to abuse her. Yeah, she used to abuse her little sister, didn't she? She's told that story.
Oh my gosh.
That she put the little sister in the dryer and turned it on, and I think that was the final straw. Look at DC, and like, that's normal, is it? And don't you just love it when people are so blinkered they can't see the wood for the trees? Oh God, she's making it too easy for me, guys. Or as far as her mother was concerned, and that's why they kicked her out. But I don't think they kicked
feel
her
like
out.
you can't
to be
hold that
homeless.
against her. Yeah, I mean, I get
You
it.
can
That's
hold it
terrible.
against her. That's
I
She's
don't
a
think she was still a
child.
child. Exactly.
right. So now I've got both the girls saying to me, "She's still a child. You can't hold that against her." I wasn't holding anything against her. I was trying to say that when you put the whole of the things together, it's understandable that perhaps Chantel was desperate for attention. And I'm not saying, before anyone goes running off saying, "Oh, Jan said she was desperate for attention." I'm just saying the girls are right in that they're saying that, you know, for a child to act in that way, they must have gone through something. Yeah, 100%. You know, I once wrote a poem, and in the poem, one of the things I said was a child is an empty paint box for us to colour in. And I really believe that. I believe when a child is born, we colour their lives. And if the colours are dark and dirty and just awful, what chance does that child have? What chance? Some come through it, not unscathed, but some do come through it. I can vouch for that. But some don't. And, there's a reason why there's so many runaways. And they're all kids, and some of them will never live to reach adulthood because there are predators out there, who will attack and will, spot their prey easily. But we need to know the facts, guys. That's all I'm saying, and I'm not disagreeing with the girls. I'm just trying to say that, we need to know the full story, really. And I'm not disagreeing with the concept of, an older person being with a younger child. Of course I'm not. Do you think I am? Some sort of nutter? Hang on. I don't recall this great indignation on Foodie's behalf when she first told this story. This is old. Why this delayed reaction? I think it's just creators using it as fuel against each other. Very good point there, Random Fish. A very good point. I think so too, because I've seen a few of them jump on it and, oh, Jan's this and Jan's that and da. I haven't got a clue who I am. I haven't got a bloody clue. The one thing I am is honest. And, and I will always speak the truth. How did this come up again? I don't even know. Oh, that's a good question, Bridge. Who brought it up first? I don't know. But don't you think it's quite interesting that Foodie's not spoken up on it? Yeah, quite possibly. He's always looking for things to create, isn't he? Shame, really. Like I say, he always picks up the wrong end of the stick and runs into the woods with it, doesn't he? Twat. Yeah. But I think if it were me and I'd told a story that was true and, was very painful to me, and it was something that had happened to me when I was younger, I wouldn't use it as fodder on my channel, and also I think if I heard that people were saying different things about it, I'd want them to know the truth, wouldn't you? I would. So I think it is right. It is quite strange that she's not said anything about it. So, or maybe what we can think is this is, the people that are coming out and saying, this, that, and the other, and saying, oh, that Jan, it did that, the other. They're all foodie fans, aren't they? They're all supporting Foodie. You don't think this is a smokescreen because of the snowflake incident, do you? Just had a thought about that. Yeah, hasn't got anything to do with Mr. Snowflake and his upcoming documentary. Oh, yeah, I could have a think about that if I could be bothered, but I can't. Not interested.
I mean, she was still a child.
Exactly.
Like,
And it's
children
so
do
ridiculous.
children do things, and it's not like my whole thing is a child is not bad. Their behavior may be bad, but the child is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't agree. I don't agree. Yeah, and I've tried to explain that. I don't think a child is born bad, but I think that it can, from a very early age, show signs of psychosis. So yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert on mental illness, but I have done an awful lot of research, and I've also had jobs where mental health was a part of the job, put it that way. Hi Terry Lynn. Yo mama did, telling everyone that no one sees foodie as human, and used this. Do you know, that's it. What is this about humanizing people? I dehumanized foodie. What? No. Does he know what that means? I wonder. If I remember rightly, this very Rumble stream was entitled Dehumanization. Listen, I don't dehumanize anybody. Okay? So get that right. The only people that I would dehumanize are predators. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Do they actually know what to dehumanize somebody is? I don't think they do. Really don't think they do. Nature and nurture. A child needs to be guided. Exactly. A child does. 100%. You don't make me watch. No. Listen, he'll be laughing all the way through it. You know, he needs to sort himself out. You know, if he wants to be taken seriously, then do it in a serious manner. You know, you can't be guffawing all over the place when you're talking about something like this. It's ludicrous. And very wrong. So anyway, here she goes. I think she's going to go off.
Oh,
I think some children, because of their circumstances, I'm not saying they're born bad, but I think because of their circumstances, because of their home lives, because of their environment, grow to have very negative traits.
okay.
And I mean, Bridge, you watch a lot of, you know a lot about mental health. You watch, true crime and everything. Most of these kids that grow up to be psychotic do things like that. Now,
Yes.
I've had 4 kids of my own. I've got 4 grandchildren. I can tell you, if one of them put their sibling in a dryer and switched it on, I would be dragging them to the psychiatrist myself.
Yes, and so as you said, I think it's a fail.
DC seems a little lost here. I wonder why. Does she know anything? Has she done any studies on mental health? It does make me wonder. And I mean, I'll just throw this in. It makes me wonder because when people have pointed out about the mental health of her chosen one, she said, oh, it's okay because I watch such and such a person and, you know, he says to do this and he says to do that. And yeah, so, yeah, I do know a little bit about mental. You know nothing. You know nothing. You know nothing about children. You know nothing about teenagers. You know nothing about what you're trying to talk about. You know nothing about bringing up little girls and steering them in the right direction, making sure that they get their studies, making sure that they look at the world as it is. You know nothing about that, DC, so don't lecture me, okay? Just don't. She reads a lot. I'm sure she knows a little bit of something. Yeah, probably knows a little bit of something. Just because she may be book smart doesn't mean to say that she's has the right to speak on people or people who have experienced things that she's never done. You know, I mean, that's one of my gripes, and one of a lot of people's gripes about psychiatrists and people who work in the mental health sector, because they may be book smart, they may have got all the accreditations, you know, that they need to be qualified, but at the end of the day, if you don't have empathy and you don't and you've never ever been in that position, how can you speak on it? And that's why a lot of psychologists have actually had traumas in their life, and that's why, or one of the reasons, they do that job, and they're good at their job because they can sorry, they can empathize with their clients. You know, I've spoken before about, you know, having therapy for many, many years, and the importance of feeling a connection to a therapist is one of the most important things for somebody that struggles with their mental health, because there's nothing worse than someone like me going to a psychiatrist or a counselor who sat there in a Laura Ashley dress and, you know, a pink cardigan. How are they going to understand me? How are they going to understand what I've been through? So I think empathy is definitely very, very important when it comes to mental health. And it seems to me that little Miss Indiana doesn't have empathy. That's my conclusion.
Failure of the parents and the failure of the adults that were around her, because I've worked with like underprivileged youth and things of that nature, and I've been called all types of names by like 6-year-olds calling me all out of my name, but I cannot get mad at this little child for the
So, as you say, you can see DC's completely lost here. Completely lost. She don't know what to say. Because Bridget's another one that has worked. She's worked with students or, you know, young kids with problems, as I have. So, yeah, we do know what we're talking about, I think. It seems that Bridget's worked with younger ones. The youngest I've worked with is 11, I think, you know, when they go to secondary school. I've worked with, you know, I haven't done primary school.
the things that he's doing.
Exactly,
because
Mary.
It's the environment that he was in, that they were in, the environment, the things that they've gone through. So yes, their behavior is bad, but I cannot say that the child is bad, because if they are given a good influence, then things could change. Like the child may not have.
Oh, sorry to cut you off there, Bridge, but I'm just looking at what Mary said here. I don't trust anything Shannon says right now, because of her anger towards Foodie. What has Shannon said? What exactly has Shannon said? And that's another thing. People aren't listening to what Shannon said. You know, from what I've heard, she's actually echoed what Foodie has said, in that Foodie used to sneak up there to this guy's room. You know, that's I haven't heard anything from Shannon that I thought, oh, yeah, I think she may be fibbing. I've not heard that. But of course, people are going to run with that, okay? It's all about hating Foodie. No, it's not. This runs a bit deeper than that blob. Okay. I don't give a toss about Foodie, but I do give a toss about real victims. There's a difference. And just because I don't like her doesn't mean to say that I'm going to say, oh, well, it serves her right then. No, I'm not that kind of person. I'm really not. And if they want to believe that, then that's up to them. I'm not going to argue with them. I can't be asked. If you want to believe that of me, you believe that of me. Okay. I know a lot of other people. I'll put it this way. There are a lot of other people that know different to that. And you know, one of the best things for me in life, even now, after, oh God, when did I stop working there? Good few years there now. Sometimes I bump into some of the students that I used to work with, and they remember me. They remember me because I helped them, because I listened to them, because I tried to explain things to them about the outside world. Have you done that? Have you got kids coming up to you? Well, they're adults now. Sometimes I'm in a queue in the supermarket and there'll be somebody behind me that I used to teach and that I helped. Have you ever had that experience? All these haters out there coming after me, saying, oh, I'm a cold bitch, I'm this, I'm that, and nah. Look at the mirror. Look into the mirror. Look into your eyes, your soulless eyes, and realise the problem is with you. It's not with me.
Felt like they were loved, and this is why they're
these
acting out.
children obviously don't have.
It would be really nice, or it'd be really, yeah, it would be nice to be able to sit down and say, what the hell happened? You know,
I don't think people realize how damaged they are, because it doesn't always look like, you know, like the actual abuse, like neglect, or the fact that
I think Chantal is fully aware of how damaged she is. I think
it's one thing I'm probably going to agree on. Yeah, I think she does know how damaged she is. I also think she knows that she knows the power of her words, and that she'll drop these stories and people will run with them. And in turn, it just adds more money in the bank for her. Hang on one sec, I have to clear my throat. I think what I would really love is for a psychologist to, oh my God, to take a deep dive into Foodie. That's what I'd really like. And yeah, I do believe that she knows she's damaged. I also believe that she's given up. She's given up on herself. And, you know, it's quite a sad situation, but I think she's realised she's got nobody. She's got absolutely nobody that cares for her. And, you know, that's a sad realisation. You know, she's going to be 40 soon. And, you know, what does she do? What does she do with her life? It's like, anyway, I'm not going to go through all that.
I think that there's a lot of self-awareness there. And let's be honest.
Okay.
People who get up to that weight, people who gain that much weight, whether they're Chantal, Boogie.
Right, not interested in that bit. Right, okay, I think she's going to come for me now, guys. So let's hear what she had to say about me. because I'm just evil incarnate. Okay. But before I play this, what I want you to realize is we all make mistakes in our lives. And I've made mistakes in my life. But I don't make them on a public forum and then try and act like, you know, I'm kind of better than anybody else. No, she's not. Let's hear.
Skinny Queen,
Okay.
I never ever want to hear another word out of your mouth
Okay.
criticizing what Kaya said about her pimp fiance. Not ever.
I don't know what that's got to do with anything. I really don't. The Kaya situation is very sad. It's awful. It's just an awful situation. We did cover that a little bit, and I remember saying, I wonder if she's not still a victim herself. I don't know. The girls told me, well, no, because she wouldn't still be, she sounds really certain about this, that, and the other. But I'm like, you don't know. You honestly don't know. The way people are online, you don't know. She could be a victim. I really hope she's not. But yeah, don't throw up other people's sad lives, to make a point. I don't agree with that, Don't try and there's no parallel, really. There's no parallel.
So what? She knew what she was getting into, right? That is exactly what you're saying.
I don't think it is really. Comparing I don't know how old these girls were that her fella pimped out. Okay, that's interesting. Can you get me the date for that, darling? And then I can check that out at some point. Not that it really matters because I'm not doing any more about her. I really don't. I don't want to. Don't like her. But yeah, would be interesting. Yeah, if you can sort of get me the date of the stream, and then I can have a nosy. So last night. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, it's a shame I've been going on for so long now because I could have had a look at that, but never mind. Right, what was I saying? No, I've lost it. I'm old, guys. I'm old.
Now, it may not be crude, and there may be no pimp hovering in the background. And the 40-year-old is also not a pimp that we know of. He was just a drunk who lived above Shannon.
Once again, supposition. It's all supposition. Don't ever go to court. Oh, too late. Too late. What were you called in court? Let me think. This lady went to court. Guess what the judge called her? Vile. You were called vile in a court of law. Swallow that hard pill.
Them from the predators who were out on the street. The pimps, the drug dealers.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about all the all the pimps out there and the young girls. It's a different scenario. Okay, it's a different scenario. And before you say anything, no, I don't agree with it. Oh, Lordy, Miss Claudie. Right, okay.
And that it was all a lie. Well, it was all very, very true. And there were hundreds, if not thousands, of victims of these grooming gangs. But the other reason, and this is even more interesting and probably just as important as the police being terrified of being called racist or having their police stations have an angry mob chanting outside and shrieking about racism on the BBC or whatever. was that the victims were mostly white working class girls, girls who were very poor, girls.
Okay, so this is something that she's obviously read about. It was something that happened over here in England where there were gangs of, I think they were Asian men, who had like a pimping ring. I didn't read a lot about it. The news depresses me, so I read the news, or I don't get too deep into the news because it it can have an adverse effect on me mentally. So yeah.
Who came from sometimes broken homes, if not homes where there was a lot of chaos.
Yeah, we know the story. We know the story. Now, what I find most offensive is this.
That these girls came forward and they insisted on getting justice, and that there was a sea change in the way that the police started doing policing, that these guys started getting locked up. Not nearly enough of them. Not near.
Oh, now that is interesting and not surprising. She was threatened with the police. She wouldn't leave the two guys alone. Their parents had their fill with her. What two guys are you talking about, Terry? That's interesting. Right.
Nearly enough. And the ones who should have been deported in many cases were not. They weren't sent back. So I see the same rationale that when you think that the victim is beneath you, when you think that the victim is trashy, or the victim is that the victim is lesser than because they're poor, because of their race, because of their socioeconomic background, in England because of their, social status, whatever it is, then you have ceased to become to be a human being. You have no human emotion left. You are a cruel and vicious person. Disgusting. And that is exactly what I see with Jan. And it's attitudes like Jan's that kept that Muslim grooming gang scandal going on as long as it did. I think it was over 100 cities.
How dare you? How dare you? You have no idea who I am, what I stand for, the type of mother I am, the type of woman I am. How dare you liken me to people like that? That is disgusting. And if you were in England, I would come for you for that. I would have you for defamation. That is absolutely disgusting. And again, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Because people like this disgust me. How dare you? So, come back to this. She kept going over to their house. Okay. Were these different boys, Terry? Or was this the French guy? These were different boys, were they? See, I have an idea. I have an idea that, right, from what Foodie has said in the past, she had no friends. She had no real friends. She tagged along with, girls that would have her, basically, and possibly boys. But she was the joke of the class. She was the joke of the school. And that's not nice, you know, that's not nice to have lived through that. You know, I can understand that. I can fully empathize with that. Not because it happened to me, but I just can because I'm an empath. But I truly believe that there came a point in her life when she was so desperate for attention. Her parents didn't give a fig. She, you know, she was thrown out. She was thrown out at 16. But she had such an inflated view of herself for whatever reason. And, you know, she played on whatever she could offer to men. That's what she did. And I think, you know, these stories that come out about her stalking from as, you know, from as young as being in her teens, I can believe them. I can believe them. Because for a child or a teen, imagine, you know, a teen who was she overweight then? I don't know. But yeah, it is. It's a really, really sad existence. It's an awful existence. But I think her problem, her main problem, is that she's broadcasted it online, and now you're going to get people that are going to try, you know, that are going to try and be all sanctimonious, like this piece of garbage here in Indiana, who thinks that she has a clue who I am and thinks she can talk to me like that. Sanctimonious piece of shite. And then you get all the other silly little reactors who are up her arse saying, oh, you saying this and that. And because you don't agree with what they're saying, they're going to paint you as something completely different. They're going to paint you as like evil. It's just so ridiculous. And I think, you know, it's really, I think people need to be more aware, you know, of what actually goes on. So do you think she was involved with that 40-year-old man is because she wanted attention? Yes, I do, Bridge. I do think that. Yeah, I think that could have been a reason. I mean, I can't say. I'm only going on what I've heard. But I think that could be a reason. There are some girls that do that. And it's sad. It's sad. But I think it wasn't even a case of, you know, people throw around, oh, well, he must have been grooming her. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It depends on, you know, what she was doing as well. It does take two to tango, whether you like it or not. Two to tango, isn't it? Whether you like it or not, it does. It doesn't make it right. Of course it doesn't. But sometimes you have to face reality. And, you know, that's why it would be very easy to pity her, you know, because she, I don't know, she is completely twisted, you know. But I still think that the buck lies with her parents. I do. She stole Pete's nude photo and showed it around. Oh my God. Yeah, I believe that as well. She does have a cruelness about her. I think she's very vindictive. I think she's very calculating. Look at the way I mean, people you know, people laugh about it and sort of dismiss it because it was against, you know, Nada of all people. But look at the way she actively stalked him. You know, she'd film herself driving from where she lived to his place in the middle of the night and be creeping around outside his house, peering through the window. Who does that? But because it was her, it's okay. Oh, it's okay. It's foodie. No, you need to look at the full picture, guys. Look at the full picture of what this woman is capable of doing and what she has done and, you know, what she continues to do. She manipulates people. She's very good at it. Absolutely 100%. Listen. A few weeks ago, well, I don't even know how long ago. When was it? She said she was bedbound. Oh, I'm bedbound, guys, and now I can't come on camera. I'm bedbound, I'm bedbound. She knew that by saying that, there would be hundreds of videos made about her. She knew that. And she knew that as long as she stayed off camera, people would believe she was bedbound. And she knew that by saying she was bedbound, she would get all these, you know, more followers, more subscribers, more money. And within the week, she was back on the screen, doing what she always does, stuffing her face. And this is why, this is one of the reasons I say, don't believe everything that not only she says, but what other people say. You know, if you truly believe I'm an evil, nasty woman, then don't come to my channel. Don't listen to me. Just block me. Block me on social media. Block me anywhere. It doesn't matter. If you really believe that of me, then I ask you to do that. You know, because I can't change your mind. You know, I can only ever be myself, and I am always myself, whether people like it or not, whether it gets on people's nerves, whether people think this or people think, I don't care. You think what you like. I know who I am. It's taken a lot for me to get where I am. When I say I'm a survivor, I'm a survivor. But, you know, in other circumstances, then I could be more open about who I am and what I've been through. But because I've landed in this pool of toxicity and venom and hate, I can't do that. And I'd love to be able to share that on my channel to help others, you know, to help others that have been through what I've been through. I can't do it because there's too many nasty people out there. There's too many people that are ready to call you this and call you that and all that. I mean, I remember I had to grow up believing that sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never harm me. I had to believe that. And I had to live by that mantra, guys, for years and years and years. So, you know, I do have a voice and I do like to use it, but I won't be spoken to like this bitch has spoken to me today. I just won't. So that's why I'm addressing her in particular. I don't give a toss about the others. That saying is a total lie, though, in my opinion. Yeah, I know, but I used to use it, Bridge, and I used to keep, whenever I was hurting or whenever I was called something that was really mean and um remember, yeah, okay. Remember I was brought up like you in a white environment where, you could count the black faces in my school on one hand. So I often got called the N-word or Sambo or, something like that. And at those times I used to think that, just to sort of help me and sort of to build, to help build my strength, I think. And I think it did help then. I think at those times it did help because remember, I didn't have anyone else to sort of help me along there. Yeah, you had to do what you had to do to get, but yeah, it's true, darling. It is true. Absolutely. So let's listen to the witch tell me a bit more about myself. Okay.
in the United Kingdom that were affected by it. We hear about Rochdale and
Oh,
Oxford.
shut up, woman.
Then she had it coming. Jesus Christ, we might as well all move. And no matter what the race of the victim, it's vile. So I'm going to say it again. I never want to hear you all criticize Kaya.
Have I criticized Kaya? No, I haven't actually. I've looked at the Kaya situation, the way I look at most situations, and that I always think there's more than one side of the coin, and I think I think we did discuss it once, on panel. But the way I look at Kaya is there's a possibility that she's a victim. There's if she's not, or even if she is, she's a very strong individual. Do I think she's done the right thing? I think it's up to her. I think I cannot understand it. I cannot understand her still being with that man. I can't. If I'm totally honest, I can't. But then I don't live her life. It's like I said on one of the live streams, we don't know what sort of life she's led or, you know, yeah, we did, didn't we? We did. We talked about her being a possible victim. And that's something that I haven't heard anyone else talk about. I think it's very easy for people to throw stones in this part of YouTube. And I've never been a stone thrower, and I'm not gonna start being one, you know? I'm the type to sort of stand back and look at it and try and empathize with it and try and understand it. And, you know, it's hard because if you say something, I mean, tomorrow there'll probably be people saying, "Oh, Jan thinks that Kaya's this, and Jan thinks this." And no, only I know what I think, and people that actually listen when I speak know what I think. Um, I think Kaya. It's very difficult for me to understand the situation with Kaya because I've never lived that lifestyle. I can't understand it. But I can understand how a victim may act. Let me put it that way. And I do wonder if she's not a victim. He seems a very, ugh, I don't know. He seems a very manipulative type of guy, and I think he would have to be to have done what he's done in the past. He obviously has no scruples. He's just, ugh, I just no. I just cannot imagine what he's done or how his mind works. Do I believe that he's reformed? I don't know. I don't know whether I believe that. Judging by how he appeared on screen that day, it doesn't look like he's reformed at all, which again makes me wonder whether Kaya is a victim, you know, and none of us will know. None of us will know. But you know, people like to speculate, don't they? So yeah, it's a hard one, really. Do I think she's the lowest of the low because she stays with him? No, because we don't know the true story. It's like, you know, with anything, you know, it's just it's not something that I can sort of, that lifestyle is so different to mine. It's hard for me to imagine being in that awful situation. But the one thing I will say is I really hope that she's not a victim. I really do. I really hope that she's staying with him of her own will, put it that way, because I hate to think of the opposite of that, you know, or the, you know, alternative. That's the way I think. Yeah, he is. He is. Absolutely vile. Absolutely. And if it turns out, I will say this, if it turns out, if we ever found out that this guy that, you know, essayed Foodie was anything like this guy, like this Terence, I hope he gets his just desserts. I really do. I really do.
If this is the attitude that you have, that a young woman who you perceive to be loose or out of control or a behavioral problem or whatever is being exploited or taken advantage of by a much older man, then she had it coming.
No, that's not what I said. I didn't say that. I've never said that. And I would never say that. I would never say that about anybody, whether they be a child or an adult. I would never say that. I'm not a victim shamer. I know what you're getting at. I'm not a victim shamer. I was just trying to find out what the truth was. Let's find the truth. And I'm sorry, but this jigsaw puzzle isn't being put together the way that so many people are trying to play it. It's not. Because whatever we've got, the stories that have come out of Foodie's mouth have never, ever mentioned that she was abused. Never. Now, I understand that some people don't realise they're being abused when they're, you know, when they're kids. I understand that. Definitely, I understand that. And some people don't realise it until they're older. But that's not the situation here. This situation is very different. So I think it is important to see what was actually going on here. Was she being groomed? Was she being forced into something that she shouldn't have been forced into? I would be the first one to want to find out. But you carry on tarring me with this brush.
Jesus Christ, we might as well all move to Pakistan. Seriously.
Why? Why Pakistan? Why? Embellish on that a bit, okay? Because one of my best friends happens to be Pakistani. So, yeah, I wonder how she'd take that statement from you. Interesting.
What year is this again? Is it 2024? Because these attitudes are very, very old attitudes.
Are they? What attitudes are you talking about? The attitudes that you've made up in your head. Okay, we'll go along with that. We'll go along with that because they're not my attitudes at all. Okay? But you carry on.
Very old. Even older than Jan.
Oh my God. Funny. Funny how I'm older than her and I still look better than her. Weird. And I don't need fake hair and I don't need to have like a eyebrows in the middle of my head. Yeah, funny that, isn't it?
Who comes up with an excuse for the exploitation of a teenage kid, of a child, a girl, by a 40-year-old man. You are disgusting. You are gross.
The funny thing is, I didn't come up with that though, did I? I think, you know, this last hour and a bit that I've been talking, I think I've sort of covered everything. I didn't actually come up with that though. It's actually in your head. It's actually in your head. And it's like one of the things I said at the beginning. You don't know. You don't know teenage girls, do you? Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same, Terry. Can you imagine being like our age and being as bitter and twisted as this person? I can't imagine it. And making the mistakes that she's made. Can you imagine? Oh my God. I think I just call myself a failure. An utter failure.
You are absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, okay.
Disgusting.
Says her, sat there with a racist bloody boyfriend. Yeah, I'm the disgusting one, am I? Okay. All right. Okay. You carry on. How she expects anyone to take her seriously when she's coupled up with Mr. Neanderthal, I'll never know. I'll never know. But anyway, I think this is the end.
And this is what Girl World has turned into.
Okay. Well, guess what? I'm not in Girl World. Okay? So, okay, carry on.
Long as you think that the victim or that the target is not up to your standard, that they have personality traits that you don't like, or they're a color that you don't like, or they speak in a way that you don't like, that they're just...
Are we really going to talk about like different color people? Are we? What, with your racist boyfriend? Get out of here, twat.
Deserving of abuse.
Again, that's in her head. I have never, ever, ever, and would I never, ever, ever say that anyone deserves abuse. Get that through your thick skull. It's not difficult to understand. Perhaps if you listened to what people actually said, then you would hear what they've said. Instead of running up, must be living in the attic. She must have a lot of dust in her ears. Don't shake your head at me. Vile, remember? That's what you were called. Vile. I can honestly say, in my real life, I've never been called vile. Ever. Ever. But you had a judge call you vile. Okay, you tell me about myself.
That's a you problem.
It is. It's a you problem. Oh, Lord, you walked straight into that one, didn't you? You stupid woman. Good Lord.
That's a you problem, and
Yeah.
it's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Disgusting is the operative phrase of the operative words.
Listen, what's disgusting is you running across America 3 hours away. Oh, no, it's more than that. Was it? What she used to do? A 10-hour drive or whatever. To see some Neanderthal who is just so vile, so disgusting. That he's lost countless YouTube channels. He's been run off. He's been run off YouTube because he can't keep his vile mouth shut. And you've teamed up. You've teamed up with him. And you have the nerve to speak badly on me. Get out of here, you stupid old bat. Right, what's that? I think the problem is that people don't want to have conversation to try to understand another person's point of view. They just want to condemn when they believe the person's beliefs are not like theirs. That's true. That's true. And how many times, Bridge? It's like with Edna. Edna's a good point to bring up here. Half the time she's on my live stream, I haven't got a clue what she's talking about. She always comes at me sideways. I say something about somebody, she'll come up with something completely different, knocks me off my feet every single time. Do we argue though? Do we argue? No. We accept each other for who we are. Do you know what I mean? At least when Bridge comes up, she normally agrees with me sometimes. But even Bridge is like, she'll say what she wants to say. And I listen. But it's true though, Bridge, isn't it? Edna's like she's in a different world. But I like to still give her a chance to speak, and then she'll sort of ramble about something. I'm like, what? What'd you say? But, it's about accepting people for who they are and stop branding people things that are firstly untrue and secondly unsubstantiated. Prove to me where I have said any of these things about victims. I mean, I actually, years ago, when my kids were little, I worked for the police. I worked for victim support. That's how uncaring I am. Okay. Who have you worked for, DC? Eh? Who have you worked for?
Word of the day.
Have we finished?
So, well done, Jan. I mean, I think that we've pretty much exposed what a fraud you are.
Oh,
What a
okay. So I'm a fraud. Where am I a fraud? Okay, a fraud. A fraud is somebody that does something to defraud other people, normally out of money, or somebody who presents themselves as somebody that they're not. I don't think I do that. I think people, the 3 people that come into my lives, I think they kind of know who I am. Yeah, I've got a big gob. I may say things that people might not agree with. Yeah. I can be a bit opinionated. Yeah. A fraud? No. No. Not a fraud.
Well done, Jan. I mean, I think that we've pretty much exposed what a fraud you are. What a heartless and cruel woman you are. And like crochet.
Heartless and cruel. She just makes it too easy for me. She's sat there with her purple blooming hair, scraggy old hair. Yeah, I can't be asked to. Yeah, you believe what you want to believe, DC. All right.
Shutter says Jan can't admit. Well, let me put the comment up now that I can do it.
Okay,
This
it's
is
my
exactly
old friend.
it.
Okay. Carsten. Jan can't admit when she's in the wrong. She never could. I think I do. I think Bridge will vouch for that. Carsten, stop blowing smoke up this senile old woman's arse. You're just making yourself look stupid. Okay? You just are. That's all I'm going to say to Carsten. You're just making yourself look stupid.
You're a cruel, nasty, vindictive woman.
Okay.
If you can't find it in your heart
Okay.
to have empathy for somebody who, and we don't know what the real story is because, like I said, Chantal played it for laughs. But
right, okay, which is exactly what I've said all along. So, okay. But I'm still cruel and vindictive. I've got to the stage where I just have to laugh now, guys, because I'm tired and I can't be asked. Headstrong like me. But if someone makes a convincing argument, the opinions will change. Exactly. That's what I'm like. I am headstrong. I'm not denying it. I am headstrong. But as you said, if someone makes a convincing argument, which Bridget has done to me before, Edna not so much, because Edna's normally away with the fairies, but Bridget quite often brings a different argument and makes me think, oh, yeah, maybe, yeah, okay. I will look at it like that. I quite like to step back and look at it from a different angle. That's because I'm genuinely interested in people and interested in what makes them tick and, what they think. I am very interested in that. So let's just hear a bit more vitriol and then I'm out of here.
the situation as a whole is not funny.
No,
It's not funny.
no.
God only knows if that man had been a sex trafficker, a pimp.
Oh God, shut up. I've had enough of her now. So, okay. So, yeah. All right. Well done, DC. You've proved yet again what a complete cretin you are. You know nothing about me. And yet you're quite happy to jump on there and call me all these vile names. I'm heartless. I'm cruel. I'm vindictive. Okay. You go and cuddle up to that racist piece of shit that you now keep saying, oh, but I love him. I really love him. You carry on with that, love, all right? But keep my name out of your filthy mouth in future. Okay? Thank you. Right. Okay, guys. Thanks for coming in. Bridge, you stayed all the time. You're so good. You're a good girlie. Yeah, but we were never that close though, Bridge. We were never that close. But even so, why just attack people for attacking's sake? I don't, why try and paint them as something that they're not, I don't do that. I would never do that. Why try and make out that somebody's especially when you've been on talking terms and yeah, you were doing your hair. Oh, do you relax your hair? Or do you go to a shop and get it relaxed or do you do it yourself, Bridge? Typing here and there. Right. I'm still not done with my hair. Yeah, because you got loads of it. You got loads of hair. It's lovely. Right, I'm out of here. Probably see you Wednesday. Yeah, we'll do a wellness Wednesday. You flat iron. Oh, I didn't know people still did that. Oh, I tell you, I was completely off subject, but I used to get my hair straightened, but because I'm mixed race and I used to go to black hairdressers, sometimes they used, oh God, I remember once they burnt my scalp because, I don't know, they just thought my hair was curlier than it actually was. And I remember one year they burnt my scalp and I didn't go back again. It was so painful. So now I just blow dry it if I want it straight. But anyway, I'm going. Guys, this is a one-off. I'm not going to be addressing this again. Oh, have you? Oh, it's so painful though. I thought I was going to die, Bridge. I was worried it was going to burn down to my brain. Oh God, that's how stupid I am. Anyway, Bridge, thanks, darling. Thanks for keeping me company, and also to Terry and other people that came in. It was great to see you. I just felt that, I needed to address this specific one because you're just talking out of her arsehole, and I'm kind of done with that, but it is a one-off. I shan't be talking on it again, and I hope you understand what I was saying, what I meant, and I'm sorry I've kept you for 2 hours. All right, carry on with your hair, Bridge. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Come along to Wellness Wednesday if you fancy a chat, and if not, I hope to see you again in other live streams. It would be nice when we're not talking about such negative things. And yeah, so you take care of yourselves out there, my lovelies, because trust me, it's a rotten old world. Bye bye for now.